Hey, so I looked up Thanksgiving songs because it's a week and a half from Thanksgiving, and I always have students that are like, Halloween's coming up, are there any Halloween songs? Or Easter's coming up, are there any Easter songs? Things like that. And there's a couple Easter songs. Here Comes Peter Cottontail, of course. But like Halloween, I'm like, not really. So I usually end up with just sort of like some spooky-ish kind of song. Thanksgiving, like nothing. But every now and then I'll Google every year or two when Thanksgiving rolls around. And this year I found something. Somebody, Rachel Rambachs, Rambach, something like that, wrote a Thanksgiving song. So it's the 10 Days of Thanksgiving, and it is just sort of a lyrical rewrite of the 12 Days of Christmas. So one, that makes it really cool because so many people know the song The 12 Days of Christmas. And two, you can then just change the words and you've now learned the 12 Days of Christmas after you've learned this song, the 10 Days of Thanksgiving, and adding on, of course, 2 more days. And if you really wanted to, you could add 2 more and make it the 12 Days of Thanksgiving. But anyway, so the 10 Days of Thanksgiving, it's really simple. It uses a lot of real basic chords, G and C and D. I think that's it. G, C, D. G, C, D. Yeah, A minor. Yeah, pretty easy. But anyway, so I went through and found all of this, and there's just a couple of notes before we get started on it. There are a few spots with alliteration, and that's words that begin with the same letter. So, for example, in the song, what am I looking for? Like 7 sips of soup, 6 spoons of gravy. A little bit of a tongue twister just because they all begin with the same letter. And that again is like a poetic, a writing device called alliteration. And but then again, with it being a bit of a tongue twister, it kind of makes it fun too. So there's that chance of messing up in saying something really silly because you can't say the tongue twister. Also, in this, some of the syllables in the song in this 10 Days of Thanksgiving have to be sort of kind of pushed into the existing song. So, in other words, like the word Thanksgiving has 3 syllables, Christmas has 2. So, obviously, there's an extra syllable there. So, you end up with like, on the first day of Thanksgiving, and you just have to kind of squash that in. Oh, and also there's an E minor chord too. So, A minor, E minor are also in this. But anyway, they're easy. So you end up with, instead of on the first day of Christmas, you end up with on the first day of Thanksgiving, and you have to kind of just kind of rush to get the 3 syllables in, but it's not terrible. Things like that, and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah, so the partridge in a pear tree is the opposite. We have too many syllables. In this version, we then have too few. So, and a partridge, the way it's sung is, it makes that into 2 syllables, kind of stretching that out. And a partridge in a pear tree is 9. This has some turkey. If we do the same thing on my plate, we end up with 8. So we really have to kind of do, you know, some turkey on my plate. And make on also 2 syllables, even though it's only 1. But it's easy enough. Once you get the hang of it, it's simple. And a little bit with the timing. There's a little bit of some weird timing in this. And rather than go over it right now, because I'm sure that you're eager to dive right in to learning it, when we get to it, we'll talk about it. But it's easy. Don't worry about it. I'll explain it, and you'll get it. And then that's about it. So let's dive into the 10 Days of Christmas as written by Rachel Rambachs. Okay, so the 10 Days of Thanksgiving. The intro is like the line in the 12 Days of Christmas and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay, so if we think of that before we get into the lyrics of this new version, so it's so and a partridge in a pear tree. Okay, and the chords G, C, D. Whoops, take 2. G, C, G, D, G, T. Okay, and you'll notice that I strummed the G at the end 3 times. Okay, because lyrically, this song has a pickup at the beginning, meaning that it starts prior to the 1 beat. It doesn't start on the 1. So, the beginning, if we think of the melody, 1, 2, 3, on the first. So see how that is? So it's 2, 3 on the first. So 1, 2, 3 on the. That 4 is where the lyrics actually start. So 1, 2, 3 on the. So it's 4 and then G on the first day of Thanksgiving. Okay, so the intro, G, C, G, D, G on the is now the first verse, and then it's on the so G for 2 beats, E minor for 2 beats, A minor, so okay, so G, E minor, A minor, D, G for 2 beats. So A minor is 1 beat, D is 1 beat, and G is 2 beats. And then the in a partridge in a pear tree, but it's now some turkey on my plate, some G, C, G, D, G, 2, 3. Remember the 3. Then the next verse on the second day of Thanksgiving. I started saying my true love gave to me. But you get the idea, right? Okay, so the first verse is G, E minor, A minor, D, G, G, C, G, D, G, 2, 3. And then the 4 is the beginning of the lyrics for verse 2. The first chord doesn't come in until the 1, of course. So then we have verse 2 is now starts off the same. On the second day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. And it stays on the D. 2 cups of eggnog. Okay, and there it's 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, and no, sorry, it's 4. Okay, it's 4 because it's the pickup. 1, 2, 3, and some turkey on my plate. On that. So yeah, verse 2. The weird timing doesn't come in yet. On the second day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. 2 cups of eggnog and some turkey on my plate. So 3 mashed potatoes, 2 cups of eggnog, and some turkey on my plate. So the D for the mashed potatoes, D for the 2 cups of eggnog, simple so far. Okay, 4, verse 4, it now adds 4 heaps of green beans. So on the 4th day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. 4 heaps of green beans, 3 mashed potatoes, 2 cups of eggnog, and some turkey on my plate. Now on the 5th, if you remember from the 12 Days of Christmas, that's the 5 golden rings part. Okay, and then the timing gets a little bit weird. I'm pretty sure. And the chords get different too. Okay, so anyway, we start off with, on the 5th day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. Now it's 5, 5 is G, golden is A, 5 golden rolls is D, 5 golden rolls. 5 golden rolls. Okay, now instead of D for the 4 heaps of green beans, D for the mashed potatoes, D for the cups of eggnog, it's now different. And the timing is in 3. So 4 heaps of 5 golden rolls, 4 heaps of green beans, 4 heaps of green beans, 2 cups of eggnog. Yeah, so 4 heaps of green beans, 4 heaps, G, 4 heaps of green beans, 3 mashed potatoes, dun, 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 dun. See how it's 3 now? So 4 heaps of green beans, 3, C, 3 mashed potatoes, A, 2 cups of eggnog is D, and some turkey on my plate. And that last line's the same. Okay, so now, verse 6. On the 6th day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. Now it's D, 6 spoons of gravy. And that's 6 spoons of gravy. So, 4 beats. 6 spoons of gravy. And then 5 golden rolls. And then back to the, what we just did, the last verse, in 3s. 4 heaps of green beans, 3 mashed potatoes, 2 cups of eggnog, and 2 turkey on my plate. And then 7, we're adding the line 7 sips of soup, and it's just a D chord for 4 beats. So on the 7th day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. 7 sips of soup, 6 spoons of gravy, 5 golden rolls, and I can't sing. 4 heaps of green beans, 3 mashed potatoes, 2 cups of eggnog, and some turkey on my plate. Then verse 8 is the same again. We're now adding 8 ears of corn. And I changed some of the words around a little bit. I just thought that there was better ways to do it. One of the lines was cobs of corn, and I was like, who calls it a cob of corn? Like, I don't know, we don't. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but maybe it's like a different part of the country or even a different part of the world, you know. I know that Thanksgiving is like a thing here in the US, but I also know that Canada has a Thanksgiving celebration. It's not like ours. I think it was actually in September, maybe, or something. But anyway, so cobs of corn, I changed it to ears of corn, and I changed a little bit of the order around just because I thought it flowed a little better. But whatever, not a big deal. Total credit to the person, I'm guessing Rachel, first name, the woman that wrote it. But anyway, so verse 8, we're adding 8 ears of corn, and it's just on a D for 4 beats again. So on the 8th day of Thanksgiving, this is 7 sips of soup, 6 spoons of gravy, 5 golden rolls, 4 heaps of green beans, 3 mashed potatoes, 2 cups of eggnog, and some coffee on my plate. Easy. 9 adds 9 scoops of stuffing, and it's still just a D for 4 beats. Excuse me. Okay. Then, the 10th, we have 10 pumpkin pies, because pumpkin pie is my favorite. And at the end of the song, because that's usually what you would have for dessert at the end of the whole Thanksgiving dinner, Thanksgiving feast. So, verse 10. On the 10th day of Thanksgiving, this is, oops, A minor. Let me start over. On the 10th day of Thanksgiving, this is what I ate. 10 pumpkin pies, 9 scoops of stuffing. Am I doing that in 4? No, I'm doing that in 3s, aren't I? On the 10th day of yeah, I'm doing that in 3s. Sorry. So, when I was saying that we're adding the D's in 4, it's 3s. 10 pumpkin pies, 9 scoops of stuffing, 8 A's of corn, 7 sips of soup, 6 spoons of gravy, 5 golden rolls, 4 heaps of green beans, 3 mashed potatoes, 2 cups of eggnog, and turkey on my plate. Okay, so I don't know why I counted 4 earlier, but anyway, sorry about that. And I guess the big takeaway from this is really just listen to the song rather than try to count it and all of that, because things can get too kind of weird, as well as, you know, me giving you apparently wrong information. But if you just know how the song goes. So on the 12 days of Christmas, on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. I don't know what the things are, but 12, dun, 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 11, dun, 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 10, dun, 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 8, 9, dun, 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 9, dun, 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 yeah, 8, dun, 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 7, dun, 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 6, Lords of Leaping, maybe, I don't know, and then 5 golden rings, 4 French hens, 4 turtle doves, 3 French hens, I don't know. So, if you just kind of go how the song goes, you'll be doing it correctly anyway. So on the dun, 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 dun. So the G is 2, the E minor is 2, A minor is 1. I'm going through just the 10th verse because it contains all of it. A minor is 1, the D is 1, and the G is 2. So the second line of verse 10 is A minor is 1, D is 1, and then the G is 2. So that makes up 4. So dun, 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 is 3. 9 scoops of stuffing. 8 A's of, so D is 3, D is 3, D is 3. Then we get to the 5 golden rolls. So 5, dun, dun, dun. So that's actually 5 is 2 beats, but you just strum it once. So strum, and then the A is 2 beats, strum, and then the D is 4 beats, strum, and then dun 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 dun. So G for 4 heaps of 4 heaps of green beans. We always called them string beans growing up. 4 heaps of green beans is 3. C, the chord C for 3 mashed potatoes is 3 beats. Then A is 2 and D is 2. Yes, the D is 2 because it bleeds into the next line. Okay, so the 2 cups of eggnog. 2 cups of eggnog and some is the next line. So it's D again. G, C, G, D, G, D. So G, C, G, D is one, beat-wise is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. And you end, because of the pickup throughout the whole song, that now sounds like it is the ending if you only do the 3 beats, because that's what it's been through the whole song. It always sounds like beat 4 is the beginning of the next part, which it is. So you end after the 3 beats. And that is the 10 days of Thanksgiving. Isn't that fun?